Hello everyone. Today we'll have a new lesson about programming languages with letter A. A.NET. A.NET or A# is a part of the Ada programming language to the Microsoft .NET platform. A# is freely distributed by the Department of Computer Science at the United States Air Force Academy as a service to the Ada community under the terms of the GNU General Public License. A-0 System. The A-0 System or Arithmetic Language version 0, written by Grace Murray Hopper in 1951 and 1952 for the Univac 1, was an early compiler-related tool developed for electronic computers. The A-0 functioned more as a loader or linker than the modern notion of a compiler. A program was specified as a sequence of subroutines and arguments. The subroutines were identified by a numeric code, and the arguments to the subroutines were written directly after each subroutine code. The A-0 system converted the specification into machine code. It could be fed into the computer a second time to execute the said program. A+. A+ is an array programming language descended from the programming language A, which in turn was created to replace APL in 1988. Arthur Whitney developed the A portion of A+, while other developers at Morgan Stanley extended it, adding a graphical user interface and other language features. A+ is a high-level, interactive, interpreted language designed for numerically intensive applications, especially those found in financial applications. Unix variants, including Linux. It is free and open source software released under a GNU or General Public License. ABAP. ABAP or Advanced Business Application Programming, originally Allgemeiner Aufbereitungsprozessor, German for General Report Creation Processor, is a high-level programming language created by the German software company SAP SE. It is extracted from the base computing languages Java, C, C++, and Python. It is currently positioned alongside Java as the language for programming the SAP NetWeaver application server. ABC. ABC is an imperative general-purpose programming language and integrated development environment or IDE, developed at Centrum Wiskunde Informatica or CWI, Netherlands by Leo Goertz, Lambert Mertens, and Steven Pemberton. It is interactive, structured, high-level, and intended to be used instead of BASIC, Pascal, or ALGOL. It is intended for teaching or prototyping, but not as a systems programming language. ABC ALGOL. ABC ALGOL is an extension of the programming language ALGOL 60 with arbitrary data structures and user-defined operators intended for computer algebra or symbolic mathematics. Despite its advances, it was never used as widely as ALGOL proper. ACC. ACC is a near-C compiler for the MS-DOS operating system on the IBM PC line of computers for programs. The compiler and compiled programs will run on any Intel 80386 or above PC running MS-DOS. Included with the compiler are a 386 assembler and a linker for combining multiple object files. There are also two libraries, which are a protected mode DOS extender are based on Thomas Pytel's Alcatrans PMode 30B plus PMode 307 DOS extenders, and a library of functions callable by C programs. Accent. Rational Synergy is a software tool that provides software configuration management or SCM capabilities for all artifacts related to software development, including source code, documents, and images, as well as the final build software, executable, and libraries. Rational Synergy also provides the repository for the change management tool known as Rational Change. Together, these two tools form an integrated configuration management and change management environment that is used in software development organizations that need controlled SCM processes and an understanding of what is in the build of their software. The name Synergy refers to its database-level integration with change management that provide views into what is in a build in terms of defects. DASL or Distributed Application Specification Language. The DASL programming language or Distributed Application Specification Language is a high-level, strongly typed programming language originally developed at Sun Microsystems Laboratories between 1999 and 2003 as part of the ACE project. The goals of the project were to enable rapid development of web-based applications based on Sun's J2EE architecture and to eliminate the steep learning curve of platform-specific details. Action. Action is a procedural programming language similar to ALGOL that is intended to produce high-performance programs for the Atari 8-bit family. The language was written by Clinton Parker and distributed on ROM cartridge by Optimized System Software or OSS starting in 1983. It was one of the first of OSS bank switching super cartridges with a total of 16 kilobytes of code. ActionScript. ActionScript is an object-oriented programming language originally developed by Micromedia Incorporation, later acquired by Adobe Systems. It is influenced by HyperTalk, the scripting language for HyperCard. It is now an implementation of ECMAScript, meaning it is a superset of the syntax and semantics of the language, more widely known as JavaScript. Though it originally arose as a sibling, both being influenced by HyperTalk. Actor. The Actor programming language was invented by Charles Duff of the White Weber Group in 1988. It was an offshoot of some object-oriented extensions to the Forth language he had been working on. Actor is a pure object-oriented language in the style of Smalltalk. Like Smalltalk, everything is an object, including small integers. A Baker's semi-space garbage collector is used along with in-memory constrained Windows 2.1 disks, a software virtual memory system that swaps objects. A token-threaded interpreter within 16-bit x 86 assembly language executes compiled code. ADA. ADA is a structured, statically typed, imperative, and object-oriented high-level language or programming language, extended from Pascal and other languages. It has built-in language support for design by contract or DBC, extremely strong typing, explicit concurrency, task, synchronous message passing, protected objects, and non-determinism. ADA improves code and maintainability by using the compiler to find errors in favor of runtime errors. ADA is an international technical standard jointly defined by the International Organization for Standardization or ISO and the International Electrotechnical Commission or IEC. As of 2020, the standard called ADA 2012 informally is ISO-ISEC 8652 of 2012. Adenine. Haystack was developed in the RDF-aware dynamic language Adenine, which was created for the project. The language was named after the nucleobase adenine and a scripting language that is cross-platform. It is perhaps the earliest example of homoiconic general graph rather than lizard tree programming language. A substantial characteristic of adenine is that this language possesses native support for the Resource Description Framework or RDF. The language constructs of adenine are derived from Python and Lisp. Adenine is written in RDF and thus also can be represented and written with RDF-based syntaxes such as notation tree or N3. ADVPL. ADVPL or Advanced Proteus Language is a proprietary programming language based on XBase. It was released in 1999 and is used for development of applications in the ERP Proteus made by ThoughtBS. AGDA. AGDA is a dependently typed functional programming language originally developed by UL Norrell at Chalmers University of Technology with implementation described in his PhD thesis. The original AGDA system was developed at Chalmers by Katharina Koopman in 1999. The current version, originally known as AGDA 2, is a full rewrite which should be considered a new language that shares a name and tradition. Agilent VEE. Keysight VEE is a graphical data flow programming software development environment from Keysight Technologies for automated test, measurement, data analysis, and reporting. VEE originally stood for Visual Engineering Environment and developed by HP, designated as HP VEE. It has since been officially renamed to Keysight VEE. Keysight VEE has been widely used in various industries, serving the entire stage of a product life cycle from design validation to manufacturing. It is optimized in instrument control and automation with test and measurement devices such as data acquisition instruments like digital voltmeters and oscilloscopes, and source devices like signal generators and programmable power supplies. Agora. Agora is a reflective prototype-based, object-oriented programming language that is based exclusively on message passing and not delegation. Agora was intended to show that even subject to that limit, it is possible to build a full object-oriented language that features inheritance, cloning, and reflective operators. AIMMS. AIMMS, acronym for Advanced Interactive Multidimensional Modeling System, is a prescriptive analytics software company with offices in the Netherlands, United States, China, and Singapore. It has two main product offerings that provide modeling and optimization capabilities across a variety of industries. The AIMMS Prescriptive Analytics Platform allows advanced users to develop optimization-based applications and deploy them to business users. AIMMS SC Navigator launched in 2017 is built on the AIMS prescriptive analytics platform, and provides configurable apps for supply chain teams. SE Navigator provides supply chain analytics to non-advanced users. Aldor. Aldor is a programming language. It is the successor of A# as the extension language of the Axiom computer algebra system. Aldor combines imperative, functional, and object-oriented features. It has an elaborate type system, Aldor programming language. Aldor.org, retrieved 12 February 2017. Allowing types to be used as first-class values, Aldor's syntax is heavily influenced by Pascal, but it is optionally indentation sensitive, using white space characters and the offside rule like Python. In its current implementation, it is compiled, but an interactive listener is provided. Aldor is distributed as free and open source software under the Apache License 2.0. Aleph. Aleph is a discontinued concurrent programming language designed as part of the Plan 9 operating system by Phil Winterbottom of Bell Labs. It implemented the channel-based concurrency model of NewsQuick in a compiled C-like language. ALF. Algebraic Logic Functional Programming Language, also known as ALF, is a programming language which combines functional and logic programming techniques. Its foundation is horn-clause logic with equality, which consists of predicates and horn clauses for logic programming, and functions and equations for functional programming. ALGOL 58. ALGOL 58, originally named IAL, is one of the family of ALGOL computer programming languages. It was an early compromise design, soon superseded by ALGOL 60. According to John Bacchus, ALGOL 58 introduced the fundamental notion of the combine statement, but it was restricted to control flow only, and it was not tied to identifier scope in the way that ALGOL 60's blocks were. ALGOL 60. ALGOL 60, short for Algorithmic Language 1960, is a member of the ALGOL family of computer programming languages. It followed on from ALGOL 58, which had introduced code blocks and the begin and end pairs for delimiting them, representing a key advance in the rise of structured programming. ALGOL 60 was the first language implementing nested function definition with lexical scope. It gave rise to many other programming languages, including CPL, Simula, BCPL, B, Pascal, and C. Practically every computer of the era had a systems programming language based on ALGOL 60 concepts. ALGOL 68. ALGOL 68, short for Algorithmic Language 1968, is an imperative programming language that was conceived as a successor for the ALGOL 60 programming language, designed with the goal of a much wider scope of application and more rigorously defined syntax and semantics. ALGOL W. ALGOL W is a programming language. It is based on a proposal for ALGOL X by Niklas Wirth and Tony Hoare as a successor to ALGOL 60 in International Federation for Information Processing, or IFIP, Working Group 2.1 on Algorithmic Languages and Calculi, which specifies, maintains, and supports the languages ALGOL 60 and ALGOL 68. When the committee decided that the proposal was an insufficient advance over ALGOL 60, the proposal was published as a contribution to the development of ALGOL. After making small modifications to the language, Wirt supervised a high-quality implementation for the IBM system or 360 at Stanford University that was widely distributed. Alice. Alice ML is a programming language designed by the Programming Systems Laboratory at Saarland University, Saarbrücken, Germany. It is a dialect of standard ML augmented with support for lazy evaluation, concurrency, multi-threading, and distributed computing via remote procedure calls and constraint programming. ALMA-0. ALMA-0 is a multi-paradigm computer programming language. This language is an augmented version of the imperative modular -2 language with logic programming features and convenient backtracking capability. It is small, strongly typed, and combines constraint programming, a limited number of features inspired by logic programming, and supports imperative paradigms. The language advocates declarative programming. The designers claim that search-oriented solutions built with it are substantially simpler than their counterparts written in purely imperative or logic programming style. ALMA-0 provides natural, high-level constructs for the construction of search trees. Ambient Talk. Ambient Talk is an experimental object-oriented distributed programming language developed at the Programming Technology Laboratory at the Vrije University, Brazil, Belgium. The language is primarily targeted at writing programs deployed in mobile ad hoc networks. Amiga E. Amiga E, or very often simply E, is a programming language created by Walter van Mersen on the Amiga. He has since moved on to develop the ship programming language for the new Amiga DE platform and the AppleScript language, also known as DOG, used during the development of the video game Far Cry. AMOS. AMOS Basic is a dialect of the basic programming language implemented on the Amiga computer. AMOS Basic was published by Europress Software and originally written by Francois Leonet with Konstantin Styropoulos. AMPL. AMPL, or a mathematical programming language, is an algebraic modeling language to describe and solve high-complexity problems for large-scale mathematical computing, such as large-scale optimization and scheduling type problems. It was developed by Robert Porter, David Gay, and Brian Kernighan at Bell Laboratories. AMPL supports dozens of solvers, both open source and commercial software, including CBC, Cplex, PortMP, GuruB, Minos, IPOP, Snap, Nitro, and LTO. Problems are passed to solvers as env files. AMPL is used by more than 100 corporate clients and by government agencies and academic institutions. AngelScript. AngelScript is a game-oriented compiled scripting language. AngelScript features static typing, object handles, similar to C++ pointers but garbage collected via reference counting, object orientation, single inheritance, multiple inheritance with interfaces, allows operators to be registered and overloaded. AngelScript can be used with any C++ IDE such as NetBeans, Kine, and Eclipse. Apache Pig Latin. Apache Pig is a high-level platform for creating programs that run on Apache Hadoop. The language for this platform is called Pig Latin. Pig can execute its Hadoop jobs in MapReduce, Apache Test, or Apache Spark. Pig Latin abstracts the programming from the Java MapReduce idiom into a notation which makes MapReduce programming high-level, similar to that of SQL for relational database management systems. Pig Latin can be extended using user-defined functions or UDFs, which the user can write in Java, Python, JavaScript, Ruby, or Groovy and then call directly from the language. Apex. Apex is a proprietary programming language provided by the First.com platform to developers similar to Java and C#. It is a strongly type object-oriented, case-insensitive programming language following a dot notation and curly bracket syntax. Apex can be used to execute program functions during the most processes on the First.com platform, including custom buttons and links, event handlers on record insertion, update, or deletion, via scheduling, or via the custom controllers of Visualforce or Lightning. APL. APL, named after the book A Programming Language, is a programming language developed in the 1960s by Kenneth E. Iverson. Its central data type is the multidimensional array. It uses a large range of special graphic symbols to represent most functions and operators, leading to very concise code. It has been an important influence on the development of concept modeling, spreadsheets, functional programming, and computer math packages. It has also inspired several other programming languages. App Inventor for Android's Visual Block Language. MIT App Inventor is a web application integrated development environment originally provided by Google and now maintained by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology or MIT. It allows newcomers to computer programming to create application software apps for two operating systems or OS, such as Android and iOS, which as of 8th of July 2019 is in final beta testing. It is free and open source software released under dual licensing, a Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 3.0 unported license, and an Apache license 2.0 for the source code. AppleScript. AppleScript is a scripting language created by Apple Incorporation that facilitates automated control over scriptable Mac applications. First introduced in System 7, it is currently included in all versions of Mac OS as part of a package of system automation tools. The term AppleScript may refer to language itself, to an individual script written in the language, or informally to the Mac OS open scripting architecture that underlies the language. APT. APT, Automatically Programmed Tool, is a high-level computer programming language most commonly used to generate instructions for numerically controlled machine or CNC tools. Douglas T. Ross is considered by many to be the father of APT. As head of the newly created Computer Applications Group of the Servo Mechanisms Laboratory at MIT in 1956. He led its technical effort. APT is a language and system that makes numerically controlled manufacturing possible. This early language was used widely through the 1970s and is still a standard internationally. Derivatives of APT were later developed. ARC. ARC is a programming language, a dialect of the language Lisp developed by Paul Graham and Robert Morris. It is free and open source software released under the Artistic License 2.0. RX. RX is an implementation of the Rex language for the Amiga, written in 1987 by William S. Howells, with a number of Amiga-specific features beyond standard Rex facilities. Like most Rex implementations, RX is an interpreted language. Programs written for RX are called scripts or macros. Several programs offer the ability to run RX scripts in their main interface as macros. Argus. Argus is a programming language created at MIT by Barbara Liskov between 1982 and 1988 in collaboration with Maurice Hurley, Paul Johnson, Robert Seifler, and William Will. It is an extension of the CLD language and utilizes most of the same syntax and semantics. Argus was designed to support the creation of distributed programs by encapsulating related procedures within objects called guardians and by supporting atomic operations called actions. Assembly language. In computer programming, assembly language or assembler language, often abbreviated ASM, is any low-level programming language in which there is a very strong correspondence between the instructions in the language and the architecture's machine code instructions. Because assembly depends on the machine code instructions, every assembly language is designed for exactly one specific computer architecture. Assembly language may also be called symbolic machine code. AutoHotkey. AutoHotkey is a free open-source custom scripting language for Microsoft Windows, initially aimed at providing easy keyboard shortcuts or hotkeys, fast macro creation, and software automation that allows users of most levels of computer skill to automate repetitive tasks in any Windows application. User interfaces can easily be extended or modified by AutoHotkey. For example, overriding the default Windows control key commands with their Emacs equivalents. The AutoHotkey installation includes its own extensive help file, and web-based documentation is also available. AutoEat. AutoEat is a freeware programming language for Microsoft Windows. In its earliest release, it was primarily intended to create automation scripts, sometimes called macros, for Microsoft Windows programs, but has since grown to include enhancement in both programming language design and overall functionality. AutoLisp or Visual Lisp. AutoLisp is a dialect of the programming language Lisp built specifically for use with the full version of AutoCAD and its derivatives, which include AutoCAD Map 3D, AutoCAD Architecture, and AutoCAD Mechanical. Neither the Application Programming Interface or API nor the interpreter to execute AutoLisp code are included in the AutoCAD LT product line. Averest. Averest is a synchronous programming language and set of tools to specify, verify, and implement reactive systems. It includes a compiler for synchronous programs, a symbolic model checker, and a tool for hardware or software synthesis. It can be used to model and verify finite and infinite state systems at varied abstraction levels. It is useful for hardware design, modeling communication protocols, concurrent programs, software in embedded systems, and more. ALK is a domain-specific language designed for text processing and typically used as a data extraction and reporting tool. Like SED and grep, it's a filter and is a standard feature of most Unix-like operating systems. The ALK language is a data-driven scripting language consisting of a set of actions to be taken against streams of textual data, either run or directly on files or used as part of a pipeline. For purposes of extracting or transforming text, such as producing formatted reports. The language extensively uses the string data type associative arrays, that is, arrays indexed by key strings and regular expressions, while ALK has a limited intended application domain and has specially designed to support one-liner programs. The language is Turing complete, and even the early Bell Labs users of ALK often wrote well-structured large ALK programs. Axiom. Axiom, previously codenamed Maestro, is a domain-specific concurrent programming language based on the Actor model that was under active development by Microsoft between 2009 and 2011. It is an object-oriented language based on the .NET Common Language Runtime using a C-like syntax, which, being a domain-specific language, is intended for development of portions of a software application that is well-suited to concurrency. But it contains enough general-purpose constructs that one need not switch to a general-purpose programming language like C# for the sequential parts of the concurrent components. That's all for the discussion about the programming languages started letter A. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.